All
Here we
right.
go.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone on oyeturadio.net. Everyone tuning in, thank you for joining us. And I want to say thank you to oyeturadio.net for giving us just this space to hold, just to hold these conversations that are really important. Also, I want to give a shout out to Angelica Mariscal, who sponsors the time, which is really cool. So if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be having these conversations. So, and then also my guests, my wonderful guests who are here. I'm so thankful for them. But before we get into our guests, welcome to season 2. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, are we going to make it to season 2? Yes, we are here. And I'm so thankful. I want to remind you guys about the mission, which is bringing on resilient people to share their stories, right? And just how they've gone through dark times and have been able to overcome, and their stories really shine. So I'm hoping that as we bring on these stories, like people, you guys who are listening to us right now, will be inspired and motivated. So, again, yeah, bringing on resilient people who shine, healing out loud, really. And a therapy disclaimer, because even though I'm a licensed psychotherapist and we have another licensed psychotherapist here with us tonight, I want to remind you guys that this should not be substituted for professional therapy or any medical treatment. So if you are having a crisis, an emergency, please dial 988 or call 911. Okay, there's somebody there who's willing to listen to you. So that's that disclaimer. I want to talk about today's theme. Okay, we're going to get into the conversation here in a little bit. But earlier, as I was thinking about the theme and how I wanted to frame it, I kind of wrote something just to kind of encourage everyone, right? What are we doing today? Today, we're holding space for something that lives deep in our bones as a community: colorism, racism, and why representation matters now more than ever, especially for Latinos and Latinas and Latine, right? There's so many of us here. Many of us were taught, though, by the world and sometimes even by our families and by our own people that our skin or our accents or our stories, our upbringing made us less. But I want to remind everyone listening, I want to remind you guys that every shade of who we are is powerful, especially right now, especially with the ice rays terrorizing a lot of our communities. I want to encourage all of us to choose courage over fear and to choose to continue to speak up and continue to take care of each other. Okay, choose courage over silence, because when it feels like we're out of options, we're not. We're not out of options. There's always more paths waiting to be discovered. So let's keep rising, and let's keep breaking boundaries with love, and let's be there for each other, because I think this is how we're going to keep hope alive. We're still telling our stories. So again, I encourage everyone who has a voice to speak up, and let's continue to take care of each other, because a lot of people are really being terrorized out there. So on that note, okay, I hope to hold this space, this great conversation that we're holding through Ekrama's story. So let me introduce the circle, okay? So first we have Wendy Llamas, who's an LCSW like myself. Wendy, please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do, what you specialize in.
Yeah, thank you, Sonia. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that beautiful intro to ground us into our purpose tonight. My name is Wendy Llamas. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I am from Pomona, California, like Sonia, and my practice is based out of Brea in North Orange County, but I work with clients throughout California. I consider myself an EMDR childhood therapist. My caseload centers women of color, specifically Latinas, and then also kiddos with marginalized identities, and supporting them and their families. So it's pretty split between working with the kiddos and the families and then working with the adult women.
Nice. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Now we have Ikrama Marche. Ikrama, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. We're so thankful that we get to hear your story today. But very briefly, before we get into your story, kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about like yourself and your projects.
Yeah, so first off, thank you for having me, or thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
And thank you for what both of you guys do. That's incredible. My name is Ikrama Marche. It is an odd name already, I know, because it's a palindrome, and it's my full name is my full name backwards. And so I grew up in Montebello, California, predominantly Hispanic area. And I've always been a creative since I was little. 6 years old, I was making stop animation with my mom's flip phone. And so I knew somewhere in this world I was going to create something, do something.
Yeah.
And eventually I went to film school, graduated. COVID came around, and then out of that, a lot of tragedy happened, but a lot of creation happened, and that's where Hella Black Mexican flourished or happened. And so I am creator, writer, animator, and it's pretty much just both of us who
That's
work on that.
amazing.
And aside from that, I mean, I have a lot of passions, but I think just storytelling, acting, one of my greater ones. Yes.
That's awesome. And I can't wait for our listeners to listen more to like Hella Black Mexican, because we're going to get into that right in the conversation. But thank you. Christian, welcome. Christian was supposed to be with us on here last time with Manny, but it's okay, right? Things happen. And I'm so glad you could join us today. So tell our listeners who you are and what you do.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. A great space.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. It's awesome seeing you
I
in person. And just the
know.
voice, I love the voice.
Aw,
It's so
thank
common.
you.
But, I'm Chris Leyva. I'm a filmmaker, director, and producer. We just finished doing my first feature film, which I got to do that.
Yeah.
Horchata with Oat Milk, which is super funny.
It
It's like
is.
a Latino Friday. That was had a lot of challenges, but it was awesome, like creating and just like it's awesome that what it's doing. So and also producer creator of Hella Black Mexican, something that we came up together. And it's awesome because she's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she's also like my business partner. So it's pretty cool. I think. But before that, I think we're like really good friends, and I think that's kind of like what helps out with everything. And I think we're both creators, and it's a fun journey so far, and we have a lot of cool stuff coming out. So
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You guys are like a power couple.
Yes.
I love it. You guys are both creatives, and that's so cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
A bit like how your
congratulations, guys,
how
on
your
everything you've
brains
done.
work. Like
Yeah, we're very alike.
I-
But we're also very different, and I think that's what helps.
Yeah.
I think I bring a lot of like softness, and he brings a lot of edge to stuff.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That feminine,
Yeah.
masculine balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a very good balance. I love it. Well, again, thank you guys, right? Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's get into the conversation, right? I want to talk about colorism. What is colorism? What do you guys think about when you hear the word colorism?
Colorism. Well, for me, it's like this unspoken like hierarchy that we like learn about skin tone, and it shows up in quietly like in our families, in media, and in the way we see ourselves. For me, it wasn't something I realized that I was probably affected by until way later. I was like, oh, all of this was kind of like programmed into
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
When did you find out that it affected you?
It wasn't until I think, well, I always felt a little bit different.
Yeah.
Especially being like the only person of color or darker in the rooms, and being an Afro-Latina, I think it's like also kind of a different experience. But it wasn't until I think I started getting a little bit older and people were asking like, where are you from? Or why do you speak that way? Or you have an accent? Or, oh, you're not black. Like, I thought you were black. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I started just looking back on my experiences and things I think I had shut out without knowing I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I went through that. And it also helped the cartoon because it's kind of where I made a lot of reflection in writing the cartoon that I realized that I went through things. But it wasn't till a little bit later. I would say I was maybe 16, 17 when I was like, oh, like this isn't what I thought it was.
Yeah. Like you
Yeah.
would see it and you would notice that there was some differences, but you didn't know what to do with it or what exactly what it
Yeah.
was.
I just felt like, oh, this is just what it is. You know, I'm black in this community of like Latinos or fair skinned or lighter skinned Latinos. That's just what it is. And I didn't know there was like a name to it, that it was like colorism.
Right.
Until after I was like, oh, that's what it was. And maybe that's why I felt like, oh, I should look different or I should look a little bit more like them.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of when you
Well, I think that's a really solid place to start. I think the word hierarchy resonates, where this idea of like it's a caste system, right, of like colors within a community, and the lighter like skin color you are, the more privilege you hold. And I think, like, to your point, you don't have that language growing up. You don't know that there's colorism and racism happening. You just hear the commentary.
Right.
Yeah.
You just
And you
hear-
feel it, right? Because
Yeah.
it hurts.
You feel the flavor of judgment like that, and then you receive the messaging like, oh, something's good and something's preferable and something's not, right? And you internalize that messaging. But like as kids and as adolescents and even sometimes into adulthood, like you don't realize that there's terms and language for those experiences.
Right.
Right. I think then also when you find out, oh my gosh, I went through that, like I was experiencing that and I didn't realize, that's another layer.
Yeah. And then if I could add to that, like,
Yes.
the honesty of like, I participated in that.
Oh.
I know.
Ooh.
Right? Sometimes like you
Can you talk
behave-
about that?
Yeah, like I think we internalize like if we're talking about colorism, we
Yes.
internalize like closer proximity to whiteness is preferable, is preferred. And then if we're going that overlap between colorism and racism, then we're naturally curly haired girls, right? And we want to be closer to like white. That means we're going to maybe like straighten our hair or like do all these other things to be closer to that,
Right.
those looks and that aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Very, very subconsciously too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Colorism. How do we see that? We see how colorism shapes identity and self-esteem, right? How did you see colorism affect your identity, your self-esteem?
I think, well, it's interesting because like I said before, like I felt different. I knew I didn't look like everybody else, but there was this one particular time where I was probably maybe 9 or 10, and this girl who was a grade older than me at school, she was visiting her cousin there. Her cousin lived in that same neighborhood. And I remember, I don't know, I was just being very silly. And I remember her being like, oh my gosh, like you're actually funny, like you're a funny person. And I feel like that was the first time I kind of ever felt validated or like seen.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a way for me to like fit in, you know, being funny. And so like fast forward, I was voted like most funniest in high school, class clown in middle school. But I think I kind of fought for that identity because I was just like, this is a way for me to fit in with my Latino peers because they think I'm funny.
Yeah.
And like, I don't fit in any other way.
Yeah.
Which in some way I did, because I did grow up with my mom. She's from Michoacan. And so culturally, it's like we all had those similarities.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was like kind of how I found my identity of making light of like the things that would happen to me. I remember being at a volleyball game and, you know, we had like our shorts and my friend's little sister, she was like touching my skin and she was like, you know, you're so dark. And I was like, yeah, I am dark. And she's like, why? And I'm just like, you know? And she just like walked off and she was little. She was probably like 4 or 5. And it was just, you know, awkward. And all my friends are just laughing and I'm just like, oh, you know, making jokes out of it.
Yeah.
But I think it shaped my identity in the way that I was just like, okay, I'm going to take everything with grace and make fun of it with it, like make, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's also kind of what it had inspired the cartoon, just me making fun of, you know, this identity crisis that I was having, that I was covering with like humor.
That's I think that's fascinating, and the cartoon is so funny and it's so cute, right? But I like the one where you do the no tienen un chilito. Did you see that one? I was like, oh my God, I love her. This is so cute, you know, like, because we hear like growing up these comments, right? You said sometimes it's done like in a light way, but what were some other examples I think of?
Yeah. Well, I think about how, you know, our indigenous like brothers and sisters, right? Like they have darker skin tones, and growing up and hearing commentary of maybe like the urging to stay out of the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Or to put sunblock on, so to avoid being
yeah.
getting darker. Right?
Yeah.
And then like again, it's not explicitly said like if you get darker you will be less desirable or etc. But the implication is like don't do that because it's not as desirable or as preferred. And so I think there's just all these like subtle experiences.
Yeah, no, and it's done like kind of like innocent, but it's like for the like the little darker kids, they're like, why? If I'm already like that, so what does that mean, you know?
Right.
Because even like as like the culture as Latinos, like when you know, oh negrito, or like you're already like oh chaparro, or they're already like hitting
The
you with little
nicknames.
names, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but I didn't think of that because it just like you don't think of that because
No.
it's not done with malice, but it's still affecting the kid that's like, you know, like
Right.
We hear that a lot with our Latino culture, right? Because the nicknames. I'm so glad, Christian, that you brought that up, because Christians nicknames is a big one.
Yeah.
Gordo,
Flaca.
gorda, flaca, right? Like pelón, negrita, right? We hear that, and so it has an impact on us. I mean, it.
Right.
what do you think? Do you think? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go for it.
Do you think it affects them, or do they like? Is it like because it's done with cariño, you know, like
Yeah.
So it's like some people like, oh, they take on it, or does it? You know
I
what I'm saying?
think both. I think it just depends on the individual.
Yeah.
Right.
I think some people, if they're already feeling very insecure and they're calling you gordo, like you're gonna feel gordo, and you're gonna maybe want to go on diets
Yeah.
constantly. You know, you might develop an eating disorder. I'm not being dramatic, but it's true.
It depends. Everybody takes it
Everybody
different.
takes it different, and somebody else, Christian, might really be just like, no big deal.
Yeah.
It was cute. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked being called gordito or gordita, you know. But again, so we have to be mindful, I think, of like how people take things.
Right. I think it's the both and, right? Like I think if we're thinking about colorism and racism, like being called negrita, right? I think it does like have like racist like origins, but then over like centuries and years, then it does sometimes get delivered with the cariño and the like it becomes like a term of endearment. But I think it's like both of those things are like existing at the same time, but maybe sometimes maybe the cariño like masks it, like its origins.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the cariño. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Like nicknames from your mom?
Well, my mom had just beautiful nicknames for me. It was always like mi reina,
Oh
mi
my
princesa.
gosh,
It was
so
never
beautiful.
like when I would go to my
Yeah.
best friend's house.
Uh-huh.
She had a pool, so she'd get dark all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I did go over, her sister was like, "Negra, like come into the house," and I was just like, "Me?"
Oh my God.
You know, and she's like, "Oh no, me," and I'm just like, "Oh," you know, and it was just like very interesting because I was like, "Okay, she's negra, but I'm negra too, so okay." But I would hear a lot of my friends' parents be like, "Put sunblock on," or "Don't go to the pool from like 12 to 4 because the sun's too hard. Like go
Right.
later because then you're gonna get too dark."
Yeah.
And I'm just there like with my towel, like, "Okay, I'll come back later, I guess."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was
I'll be at
just
the
very.
pool.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, the
Okay,
reality was they weren't trying to protect us from like cancer and like the deadly sun rays. They were
Trying to protect us from being like having really dark
the way
skin,
we
which
look.
is
Yeah.
which
But now
is
people
silly.
like try to like tan and they want to go dark. That's like a pretty thing, right?
It
It's like, oh, I want to get
is.
a tan. or
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
It's
I mean, that's a thing in
interesting
itself.
'cause it
Yeah.
goes, it's like, and it also Afrocentric features go into it, and like Eurocentric features go into it. Because yeah, I think it's just like a lot. Like it's
There's a lot of things at play, right? And that are
Yeah.
intersecting, right? And like, and that's a whole thing in itself. Like some folks are like, and then we got like another group of people that are trying to look more like a person of color and trying to embrace like the curves or the color or like the way they do their makeup, etc. So it's an interesting dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah. But then some people get offended when they try to do. It's like there's such a like, you know what I'm saying? You
I
don't
think
know
we're
what's like.
in a really strange time right
Yeah.
now, though, too, right? Where it's like, I don't know, are they going to get offended or
is
not,
very
right?
weird time. Even with the cartoon, when we were developing it and we were writing episodes, I would constantly be like, "Oh, I don't know if we should say this or write this," and he would be like, "Dude, it's your truth." you
Yes,
know?
I
Yeah,
love
It's your
that.
truth.
Yeah, people were commenting like, "Oh, that's not how it was," and it's or like you, and it's like it's your experience. It doesn't matter. You're
Absolutely.
come from Montebello. You're like it's a whole different experience. You're not telling like there's not one story, you know.
Right.
And somebody was going to relate to that, and somebody
Right.
had that experience. I was listening to the one where you got the most backlash. One of the episodes, right, where it's I think it was with a friend, and I don't know if it's he or she. They're Hispanic, but then the family, the Hispanic family, you know, sometimes in Hispanic families, right, there's racism,
Yeah.
right, within ourselves. So I think that, did you say that? I was watching a video yesterday where
Was
you
it
were.
I think the "Why Are You So Afraid of Black People" episode?
Yes,
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
the Felipe one, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the chili episode.
Okay.
The one, yeah.
Yeah, why are you so afraid of black people? You got some backlash for that. No? From Mexican people or no?
I mean, we get a lot of comments
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
Um,
What has been the one that maybe like a comment that you were like, wow, I don't agree with that, or it was totally taken out of context?
I mean, we get a lot of, I think maybe one particular ridiculous one that did stick out to me was the fact that the cartoon, the protagonist, Little E, her skin is like slightly darker than what my skin is. So I think that was one of the very first comments we got, that it was just like, why is she so much darker, and like that's not a real experience, and blah blah blah, you're exaggerating it. And I was just like,
Oh.
I have the opportunity to put like people of color on the screen. I was a very dark black little girl. You know, I was always in the sun, and like even if she was even more shades darker, like there should be absolutely no problem with that. This is still an experience that, you know, somebody has gone through. But I think that was like a ridiculous one where I'm just like, can't they just appreciate that we're
Yeah, that's
creating
really silly.
something?
Yeah, that's.
But could you think of
Something about like black people in Mexico or something.
a recent one too? I don't know. Some don't even make any sense, where I can't even really explain what they're trying to say. But
Yeah.
it was something about like, oh, we're making fun of basically hella Black Mexicans when there's Afro Mexicans or something like that. And we were just like, we're putting a light on something that really isn't out there.
Yeah. And I think it's great what you guys are doing, how you're putting a light to that, because I can imagine you've gotten a lot of really positive feedback.
Yeah. More positive than
I bet.
anything.
Yeah.
We have like teachers calling us, like people like with their little kids watching the thing, and it's insane, and that kind of like super motivating. But it's like we needed that, like the little
We
kids.
do need
It's
that.
they think it's like this famous thing, like the little kids think it's like a Disney character, and the mom's just like all like proud, like there's nothing like it. So it's like the positive overwhelms like what we're doing, and like the scenarios are true scenarios. We just magnify them and make them funny, but it's like stuff that could be serious, you know. So, but it's we're getting such great feedback. It's very like motivating.
Yeah, and a lot of it are based on like true life events that happened, right?
Yeah,
So
for the majority, I just remember sitting down and I was writing, okay, well, when I was 5, this happened. And then I asked my mom why I don't look like her. And then, so, yeah.
that's so cool. You know what I love that, again, like when we're talking about representation, right? Like, how would it have been if you would have seen that cartoon when you were younger?
Oh my gosh, it would have been incredible.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it was hard. I would watch novelas with my mom, and it was just like there was absolutely no representation there.
Marimar?
That's so Raven.
Marimar in my mind. Marimar. Yeah, sorry, but
no, I mean, like the closest representation I had was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with That's So Raven on Disney.
Yes.
Like she was just like herself, a Black family, but you know, she wasn't Latina, but it was still like, I loved watching her. I loved how funny she was. And she was just so unapologetically like herself all the time. But no, if I had that cartoon, I think I would have been more confident sooner, or just been able to be like, oh yeah, I am like her. You know, that's me.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend who also experienced some colorism when she was growing up, and I was asking her, what would have helped you? She's like, yeah, just having to have been more affirmed about like my skin color and how beautiful I am. And it sounds like your mom really did that for you.
Yeah, she did. And I think because I kind of put that pressure on her too, because I would be like, why don't I look like you? Why is my hair like this? And she didn't really have a lot of answers for me. She'd just be like, you're beautiful. You know, you look just like your father. Your father is a gorgeous man. This, that, and the third. And I was just like, that's not enough. And like, eventually, I just stopped kind of telling her what I was going through, because I'm just like, she can't help me.
That's another challenge.
And what's interesting too is like she's going through her experience, but her mom's going through another experience. Like that's not your, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't look like, so it's like she's navigating through like something new too, where it's like, I don't know how to do her hair, but I'm trying my best.
The
you know?
hair one, you know, the hair one reminded me a little bit of, I have my oldest daughter who has, her hair is like yours, like really tight, curly hair. And I was a young mom, but when I would do her hair, I didn't. Oh, there was so many crying. There was so much crying. Like my poor baby.
We were both crying.
So you poor you, right? You guys were just crying. It was super painful afterwards.
Mom and I both crying. And I think that's where the straightener came into play. She'd try to straighten it. And
when she did the bangs?
oh, yeah. So I wanted a copete because she always had a copetito. Like, always, since I can remember. She still has one. And when I was on that whole, like, Mom, I want to look like you. She's like, okay, you know, I'll give you a little copete. And it was right before picture day. And so she like wets my curly hair, she stretches it, and then she cuts it. And it just shrinks up to right here to my scalp. And she's just like, oh. And she like fixes it with a little bit of mousse and gel, and she's like, oh, it looks like in the 80s, like that's how we had the hair. Like it looks really good. And yeah, I mean, we still laugh about it until this day, but it was just like a little piece of like.
Is that picture of you when you're little? I've seen somewhere.
There's a lot. There's a picture where I have really short hair because she ended up cutting it all off. Because I guess in Mexico there's a tradition.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. She thought it was gonna come out straight, and it came out even worse. Like even crazy. Not even. I'm not gonna say worse, but worse where she can't manage it. She thought she was gonna be able to manage the hair, but Yeah.
all those different challenges, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what I want to say about you is like, you see when people go through different challenges, and there's people who, I don't know, maybe stay kind of like in an oppressed state, like in a victim mentality. And one of the things I really appreciate about you is you kind of remain with like a pure heart. Like you're still very sweet. And some of the stuff you went through wasn't like, it was pretty, some of it was pretty harsh.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
still have such a beautiful heart, you know? So I think that's really, obviously that had a lot to do with your mom too.
Oh yeah, she's such a graceful like person. I've seen her go through so much, and even like the stories she would tell me, and I'm just like, how are you still like such a
Aw.
good mom? And she's still hard on herself, like, oh, I feel like I wasn't a good mom, and I'm just like, you were like, I don't know, God could not have blessed me with somebody better, like while I'm navigating my identity, like she was the perfect person that God could have put in place for
I
me.
agree.
And I think
Yeah.
it goes back there. She's so sweet, and like her brother and all them too. But I think it goes back to the words, like words of affirmation and building them up
There
and all that
you
stuff.
go.
Because it's just like it was just them three, a little unit. But it's like her brother's like he's the greatest. You know, he's like a doctor, and
Oh, how
she's
wonderful.
great. But they have like really like
Strong
no matter
values.
no matter their environment, they're like making the best out of it. I'm just like it's awesome, you know.
It's
poured into
beautiful.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the best
She's
way
poured
she
into
can.
me.
And that's that ripple effect, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that ripple effect of love.
Wow.
It is of love and of healing, right? Because you see, like, oh, wow, she went through all of that and she overcame it, and she still has a good attitude, and she's building and creating something with it that can actually help other people. That's really special.
Yeah. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I'm curious. So your mom obviously was a big like source of support and doing her best to affirm you in the way she knew how.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else in your life that like affirmed your identity growing up?
I would say, well, my mom was a big factor. I think there was times where I would try to communicate like with my dad when I had the chance to. And it was just, I mean, he was just built different. So I think, you know, if I would tell him like, hey dad, you know, they told me this at school, he'd be like, fight them.
He had a different approach.
And I
I
was just like,
think you needed that too, though, right?
I did probably need a little bit of more fight, and I think I was just more like, I guess my fight would be like with being funny or witty or like
Yeah,
with
you were very
comebacks,
smart.
you know.
Yeah.
But I think my friends did a really good job at like just being supportive as well. I mean, they've never really brought up my skin tone or anything really. And so even my brother is he has a different dad, so he's full Mexican. And he would always tell me like, oh, if somebody says this particular thing, like you know, don't, like, you need to stand your ground. Like he was so I think I had friends that were just...
They accepted you as you were.
Yeah, and even if their parents were a little bit iffy, where they were just like, ¿Quién es esta negrita? You know, they'll be like, she speaks Spanish, Dad. Like, shut up. You know, and so...
You would come in and talk to them and just kind of still their hearts, right? Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the thing too. I mean, I feel like my story would be very different if I didn't speak Spanish, and I feel like that's a different topic too, because I think that gives me like rapport with the Latino community.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, she's one of us, you know? But I think as soon as people would just hear me talk or share a little bit, they'd be like, oh, she's one of us.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm so glad that you created Hella Black Mexican, you know, especially for all the other little girls that are kind of experiencing similar things. Like, it's such a good thing. I imagine it was very therapeutic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think when we would work on it, it was, since we're just two people and it's literally, we are writing it, right? And then we're like, okay, we need to record the voices. We're pulling up in our car to our friends' houses. Hey, come outside. We're recording the voices, crossing it off the script, going to another house, recording the voices, going home, editing it, animating, rigging. It was just a lot. During the actual process of creating each episode, I don't think I had a lot of time to even like digest it. It was just like, okay, we're writing this. Okay, cut, say the line again. It was horrible with my mom. She was just like not feeling it at some point. But I think it wasn't until after we would put it out and we'd like sit back and watch it, and it was just like, whoa. And I think that's where I kind of started to feel like the healing.
Yeah.
Even now, I think a few days ago, I started rewatching all the episodes, and I don't know, I just get a little choked up because I'm just like, whoa. Like, it's still, I didn't realize how much I was, like, carrying through the process until after I started, like, to see it. I was like, wow, I didn't, because I would fix it all with jokes and fix it all with being funny.
Yeah.
And how beautiful you had this way to channel it. And you continue to do it through this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know one of the things we see afterwards when we begin to heal is like, there's like the grief that comes up, like little Ikrama went through that, or little Sonia went through that. Dang, that's sad, right? So there's that piece.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And even for my mom, like I said, I wouldn't discuss a lot of these topics with her.
Oh.
So I think for her, it was very eye-opening. And I think that's why she also felt like, oh, maybe I didn't do enough as a mother. And I'm just like, no, you did enough. Like, you did enough. Because even her watching it, even my friends are just like, hey, you never shared, like, any of this. I had my friend Natasha call me just a few days ago. She's like, oh, you're going to be on this podcast about colorism and racism? Like, what did you go through? You never even shared what you ever went through. And, so I did tell her, like, well, yeah, I mean, everything you see is, like, things that I had gone through. But I think it's been very healing for my mom, very healing for myself, for my friends, for everybody, because it's opened the door to have that discussion where it's like, oh, okay, this is necessary to have this discussion.
Totally.
Yeah.
And these are discussions that, like, a lot of Latino families don't really like to have, so I'm glad that we're having them. Chris, talk to us a little bit about what it's like working together and how you see as like a director, right? How healing takes place. Because I bet you see a lot of cool stuff.
I mean, working with Ikrama has been great because I mean we started with doing production and stuff like that, and she's always had she's super creative, like beyond creative. And she's like a little character, so she has very great timing, very great timing and humor. And I remember this one time, like, it was like, I don't know, this like a little weird, awkward moment. And then she was like, so, and I was like, oh my God, you're like a cartoon character, right? So and we're working on a project, and we're out at we're one of those Hollywood, the thrift stores, and I found a little dress, which is her little dress, and I was like, oh my God, this is
her dress.
This is the character. So first it was like a live thing, and we're recording her doing a live thing, and I remember going on. I was in Mexico doing a production for a couple of weeks, and out of nowhere she sends me like the little character. Doop, pops up, and it's like talking. I'm like, what is this? Who did this? Like, and she's like, I did it. And it's like, and so I was just like, there's no, like, what do you mean you did it? She's like, yeah, I just learned this program. And that's the thing with her, like, she'll like grab onto something and like
And she'll
she'll get it. Like, she's super smart. And so she did that, and I was like, I couldn't believe, like, what do you mean you did it? So I was just like, hey, so we flew her out to where we were at, and we had a meeting. I was like, this is like huge. We need to like continue to do it. And we just got to it. As soon as I came back, we did it. Like, it was during COVID. I came back and we just went crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think it's working with like, that's with her, but working with like different actors and stuff. I think I really like to kind of like get to know them and have conversations, because a lot's happening when we're talking, I did this movie called, it was a short, Addicted to You with Sonia, and it was like a tough drama of addiction, and so like she was kind of like, even with her, like people are releasing like
Yeah.
their stories and they don't even know it.
Yeah.
And she had something that she was kind of releasing. So I'm just having like a conversation with her, and she's like telling me like it's so weird because um like I had I would like get in a fight with my husband and stuff like that, and I could still smell like the alcohol in his mouth, but I kind of still like liked it. It was weird. It was like this trauma that So I kind of like used that, and also the like when we're having the shoot. I had like the actor like not make contact with her like that whole like for a day and a half, and she was kind of like worried like what's gonna happen, he's not answering me, but I knew she could handle it. But now she's going through like these like
Gosh.
emotions. Yeah, and it was crazy. So she's kind of like, wait
Can't
a
you
minute.
do it any other way? No, just kidding.
I know, but it was like a risk, but I knew she could do it because she's very tough, and so I
Well,
kind
I
of.
imagine you were going for something, right? And
Yeah,
so,
and the thing too in the short, like the first time that they see each other in the movie is the first time they see each other in like 2 days, and I even had the guy like Anthony like take a drink so she could smell it, and it's crazy because you see it, and she kind of was like reliving the moment, and it was great for it. So it's like I kind of like. Depending on like who I'm dealing with, and I can't do that to anybody, but I knew she could handle it,
Right, right.
Because some people like it's just a trauma that,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think I like to like, and then we had the whole comedy stuff, that kind of was like just like
That's
let them,
fun.
give them like. Let them play and just give them kind of like the guidelines, but let them do their thing. So it's just like it really depends on like who you're dealing with, and they're all like your kids, like you got to treat them different. Like you approach them different. There's not like one, but
Yeah. I mean, all different personalities,
Yeah.
right? How cool.
I have to ask, how long have you two been together?
Well, we've known each other for a long time.
we've been maybe like 8 years.
Okay,
Like
that's how
8
long y'all
years.
have known each other.
Like going on like 10 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
and been together 8.
Yeah. So like we went to film school. We went to film
Okay.
school together, and kind of like we're like friends, and that's what it worked. It ended up working out because it's like we're friends before anything, and then just so
You could tell, yeah, that like there was a foundation prior.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems healthy.
It is. Yeah. No, and I think it is.
Healthy
Yeah.
relationships,
Yeah.
right? We're therapists. We can tell.
No, and I think like I'm to like her mom and stuff like that. She brought like a piece into my life, because I'm like more like the chaotic workaholic, this and that, and like
Yeah.
when there's just like a.
Yeah.
And but she's still fun where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
and I think with me, like I get to like motivate her and take her out, like, because she gets like sometimes maybe like a little insecure or like nervous and stuff like that. Like she wanted to do acting and stuff like that, and she was in a play, and she was like wanted to do it so bad, desired it, and I go this one time to the house, and she's full on like crying, like I can't do it. I'm like, what do you mean? Like you have to, and then like so I got her to do it, and that was one of the best things that she was just like, I can't believe I almost didn't do it. But so I think we kind of like help each other in those.
That.
Yeah.
I love that about you guys. That's so cool.
Power
You-
couple indeed, Sonia. You called it.
yeah, I did call it. Yeah, because
Power
it's like
couple, for me,
you-
it's in the sense of like they're supporting one another's healing. and, like,
absolutely
growth,
the
you know?
growth, the
Yeah.
career, their healing, and it's really beautiful to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that. See, you didn't think we were gonna get into some relationship stuff, right? But Chris, yeah, I hope our listeners like really, and I'm gonna need to get like links from you guys, right? Because like our Latino community needs to see Hello Black Mexican. They need to go watch like what you've done, right? With horchata with oat milk.
Yeah.
It's a funny movie. Where can people purchase it?
Horchatawithoatmilk.com. So you
Okay.
guys, we're going direct to
Still there?
consumer right now. So horchatawithoatmilk.com.
I watched it this
Did you watch
weekend.
it?
I
Oh, thank you so
did.
much.
I
What'd you
watched-
think?
I loved it, guys.
Yeah?
I liked how you described it as, what did you say, the Latino Friday?
The Latino
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's familiar, right?
Yeah.
Like it's familiar. It's representative of like what's really happening right now in terms of gentrification. So yeah, I saw that the cinematographer, right? She got an award. That was one of the things that captivated me. I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
awesome.
dang, this is like beautiful. Like the
Yeah.
shots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good
that's
job.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching it. It means a lot. We worked really hard on it. And it's crazy because that's another thing too, where it just like the topic is a big topic. We're just like being funny, but at the end of the day too, like it was meant to be like, hey, we need to like work with each other, not against each other, you know, because it's like there's a scene right there where it's just like they're in the neighborhood and they see another Latino and then they're like, there's someone that looks just like us. Let's like war with them. You know, it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of saying like, hey, they look just like us, why don't we open up a coffee shop? Like they're, you know, so
And
it's
work
just
together.
like, and it's like, and it happened. That's like real life stuff that's happening. So it was like we did all the jokes that was the hook, right? To be like, hey, we need to work together, guys. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? You know?
Yes.
So it was great because I feel like we got all the jokes and this and that, and like they were like super authentic. Like the mom is like, that's our mom.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
You
we've
know?
heard her. I mean, we heard that voice. It's just so familiar. That's
That
our Tia.
face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I like that approach y'all took because it made it digestible, right? Like it made like a very heavy and loaded like topic and topics like just bite size enough where it gets people to start thinking about it, and it's just, I'm guessing hopefully it's just the beginning of more work that like folks get exposed to that gives them more, right?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it for you
Yeah,
watching it. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I think it's a treat
Awesome.
for the Latinos. It's like it's
Absolutely.
ours. You know, it's ours. You know.
Yes,
So-
especially Southern California.
Yeah.
Like folks from Southern California, it's just like it's in your backyard. Like we
Right.
know what's happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen it.
Yeah. So let's pivot a little bit because, gosh, that went by really fast. But I want to get into clinically speaking, right? After talking about colorism and kind of some of the stuff that's been going on, let's do Wendy's mental health reflections.
My mental health corner.
Yeah, yeah. What do you want to share with our community, with us,
gosh.
in regards to this and like building strong and healthy self-esteem, especially with our Black and brown girls?
Yeah. Okay. So I had an idea of what I wanted to share, but I'm just absorbing your guys' information and the healing. I'm just still processing like the healing they're offering to the community by like the storytelling that you're both doing. And
Yeah.
I think as therapists, we live for the storytelling. We're trained to like hold space for the stories. And so right now I'm just like in my therapist mode, like just tell me more about your story.
I know, I know. We could, but I would love to too. Yeah.
But yeah, I think a couple of things come to mind if we're talking about this really tough time that we're living in.
Yeah.
Where, like you said at the beginning of the show, our community, our people are being terrorized and attacked, and worse. And like I said, my caseload split between working with kiddos and mostly Latinas. And so I would say the first thing, source of medicine that I would recommend for folks is community, right? And even like this is a representation of that, of like
Totally.
creating a space,
Mm-hmm.
a space that feels safe and supportive and loving, where people can share their experiences. Y'all know this.
Yeah.
Just creating a space, even if it's just 2, 3, 4 people, where you can openly share experiences that feel difficult and challenging and just be affirmed and just be heard. And sometimes, like, you know, I think we want to go into fix-it mode and have the answers, but right now, that it's tough.
Yeah.
There's no easy answer. So I think leaning into community is really, really important. And I think the other thing that I want to name is I love the concept of la cultura cura, right? Like culture is healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's tons of research that shows that when we have a strong connection to our culture, like the risk of mental health issues goes down. It promotes like better self-esteem, more resilience, greater well-being. So if we could find ways to double down into our culture, whether it's through cartoons or through movie or other form of art, or in my case, going to Bad Bunny concerts, like,
Oh, I like that one.
but just finding a way to, because that, you know, as someone alluded to it earlier, I think you did, of folks want us to, our identities to be erased or to be minimized, and for us to shrink and hide certain aspects of our culture to be more aligned with white dominant culture. But a form of resisting that is be like, no, I'm going to show up with my curls. I have, or whatever. Like I think of last year I was in session with a teenage Latina client, and I was wearing my huaraches. And she was like, I like your shoes. And I was like, thanks, girl. And then she's like, I want some. She's like, I see them at Placita Alvera and I want to get some, but I'm scared of the kids making fun of me. And that's such a common experience, right? Like we don't want to be outcasted, especially as adolescents. And so I think the more we as people give ourselves permission to lean into our full authentic selves, we then give others permission to do the same, right? And so I think even if we could do that like in micro moments, in micro ways on a day-to-day basis, it has a ripple effect.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tips for resilience in today's climate, especially with the fear. What do you guys think? How are you guys doing with all of that?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Just it's tough to watch, and it's kind of like it's very hard to kind of take action. You could go. You could do the march stuff
Right.
like that, but it's like that's kind of creating like a bigger fire, and a lot of that stuff. Like I don't know. I think you need it's a hard
hard.
situation
Well,
because
you guys are, if I may, you guys are already doing the work.
You
Like,
guys
I
are.
think we all have a role,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And you guys are the artists.
yeah.
Yes.
Because
You
even
guys
like
are the creators.
right now when you talk like in the community, it's
Yeah.
crazy because in the comments like they start talking within each other and like, oh yeah, my mom lives there, or like this, so
You're
it's like
facilitating
yeah.
healing.
And I think it creates a conversation, like a lot of like what's going on with the raids or with the ICE stuff like that. It was very chaotic, and a lot of people were out there not even for the movement but for the chaos. There was like a lot of like kids making the raza look like
Right.
that were like that, and I was out there and it's like they were just little like wild kids having fun doing that stuff, so it's like we need to have the conversations and not put ourselves in that light because we're
Correct.
not all that. But that's what they're highlighting. It's like there's a lot of like great immigrants that like
Yeah.
that are like, you know what I'm saying, like super
Absolutely,
professional,
like-
super great people.
Like
And-
here.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So it's like
Well, I also think about what you were talking about when you were saying, when you were talking about the movie and how you're trying to like amplify the message of unity within the culture, within the community. And so when we can line up that way, then we can fight the folks and the systems that are really causing the oppression and
Together.
the issues together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then there's the stuff that happens within. I mean, going back to the beginning and the concept of this, right? The colorism that happens, and then it creates like we're against each other. It's like, no.
Separation.
Yeah, separation within the community. Yeah, so it's like to your point, creating that united front so we can
yeah, it's great to have like subcultures and cultures and be part of your thing, but we also have to be like human. Human. We all have like the human experience. We all go through stuff, and it's like, it's good to be proud of your cultures, but at the end of the day, like, we all kind of like need to connect and like,
Yeah.
like kind of
Yeah.
okay, we're coming from different experiences, but
We're still human.
we're having the
Yeah.
same human experience. At the end of the day, we all hurt, we all cry, we all laugh, we all have families, and it's like we
Connect
might
with
be
that
different
humanity.
with like our food and culture and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, we're all the same too, so we need to see that too as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. That's so important. Yeah, the human experience, we all are the same. I think when you look at it and you talk to another person of another race, it's like, oh yeah, you want a good family too. You want a good job. You want to have peace. You want to have love. You want to belong and you want to be accepted. And that's, I think, what we all want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else, Wendy? Any other mental health reflections or tips?
I think those are the two main ones. I mean, there's so many, right?
Yeah.
But it's like finding those safe, supportive spaces where you can feel affirmed and seen. And there's so many different ones, right? Like it could be an art where you see yourself and you get something therapeutic there. It could be getting a therapist that looks like you or has a similar background to you. There is a wide continuum. But it's also, if we're talking about like colorism and racism and why representation matters, it's also like if it feels safe enough to do that, trying to show up more as ourselves.
Right.
Again, so we can have that ripple effect.
Yeah.
to others.
Yeah. So for that, like, thank you so much because, for coming on and sharing your story and how it started. And we're so glad that we have it. Thank you, guys. Key takeaways. Let's see. I guess I want to ask you guys, with all of your life experience thus far, like, what would you tell your younger self? Let's start with Christian.
Good. I was like, wait.
What would I tell my younger
Yeah.
self? To slow down,
Ooh.
slow down. Don't see everything from a micro, but see it from the top. You know, see it from the top, and you're gonna love learning. I love learning now. Later, you know what I'm saying. So, and it's gonna be okay.
That's so cool. That's a really good message to your younger self.
Yeah.
It's fun. The journey's fun.
Yeah. Ikrama, what would you tell your younger self?
What would I tell? I would tell my younger self that I'd probably tell her that she's enough, you know, that she doesn't have to do more or be more to prove her worth, that she deserves love. And as soon as she realizes that the impact that she could have on people when she starts loving herself, that it's like bigger than her. Yeah, I
That's
think
deep.
just love yourself, because
Yeah.
when you do, you're giving other people permission to do it also.
That's beautiful. I love that.
That was way better than mine.
Both are good. Both are really good. Oh, Wendy.
Little Wendy.
What would you tell little Wendy?
Little
I
Wendy.
would tell her I love her, and that even though she feels lonely, she's not alone. That her people are coming, and that she will feel connected and she will feel loved, and similarly, it's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
How about you?
I guess what I would tell my younger self, little Sonia, I would say, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Do your thing, girl.
Yeah.
Follow what you feel. No, really, you know, I'd say don't give up. We got this. Yeah.
Love
And
that.
I love you, and I love you, and you're so strong for getting me through so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy space for all the little kids. There's a lot of little kids in the
Emotional.
room.
Ah, yeah. But yeah, I want to say thank you guys so much for coming on and just talking about such an important topic. I hope it kind of spoke to different hearts, right? And with people who see the video later, which I want to remind all our listeners right now on oyeturadio.net. The video will be out, so you can go on YouTube and go to Soul, which is Soul, S-U-L, to Soul, like the sun, Soul, S-O-L. And you could check out the full video there. What else? What else before we end? Next month, we have another really good one. We have like an LCSW and an LMFT. I think you know her. And we're going to talk about more healing, just kind of like a message to the collective, like where we need to be right now. Again, especially with like everything that's going on. I do want to say something else though, right? One other way that we can make a huge difference, money, like purchase Latino stuff, right? Like support that. Money, like money makes it. Money makes the world go round. Money makes a difference, right? So kind of being mindful, being very mindful and intentional about what we support.
Yes, I agree.
Because there's so many of us.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep rising.
Yes.
And again, thank you guys so much. And thank you for our listeners.
Yes.
And till next time.
Yeah.